Any questions?
So this might be a question for both speakers.
Can you speak up, please?
Yeah, this might be a question for both speakers, but I was struck by the difference between, on the one hand, the project to draw out the outline of what Judaism says, a sort of set of doctrines that is Judaism, which you can accept or accept and reject at the end of the day. And on the other hand, Judaism focuses on people, experiences with people, bringing people in. Can these sorts of things fit together? I mean, are the two speakers given us two options from here on, or do you two think that something can be worked out?
I mean, I'll start, and then I think that actually is really supporting what Rav Sam is trying to do. Like, find out what Yiddishkeit believes in. What do we believe in? What do we believe in, regarding Torah Kadmon? So I'm all in favor of it. Let's work on that rather than, focusing on what we don't believe in. The Shalom Asanis in the morning. So you see, in the morning you wake up, you're cranky, you don't know who you are, but I don't believe in this, and Shalom Asani this, I know I'm not that. But, if you ask Jews in America, they know they don't believe in Jesus. What else? What about, that's the first of the Ikarim, they don't have any other Ikar. So let's begin to work on positives, on what do we believe in, how do we make sense of this, what are our principles. So I actually do think that we are very much in harmony, and you're right that when you continue to focus on what you believe in and clarify what you believe in, you will, naturally people will see that Orthodoxy is this, and it seems like it's not that. I'm really just pushing where the focus should be.
I'll wait till Okay, so you've got a first-year student at Kobe who takes this really on board and says, A, it's important, theology is really important, I can't skirt that. B, yes, the floodgates have opened and I need to engage with this Apitor system to honestly understand what makes sense. And he comes to the conclusion, after considerable thought, that it is virtually impossible that the tradition, that the Torah was dictated word by God, is true. He's thoroughly convinced of it. Now he might even go somewhat beyond that. Okay? Whichever of the manifestations of that. Does he have a place of hope? Will you give him ordination? Will you send him into a community? Frank.
Great, good question. Topless? All right, deserve it. Come on. So first of all, the person has to say, I believe in Torah Misinai. And we struggle with some students that have a pretty broad view of that. And so we are willing to allow students to talk about the difference between historicity and between what I believe in, fact and belief. So there's a lot of play, but at the end of the day, the student has to say, I believe in Torah Misinai, the way it's been passed down to our Masorah, and I am an Orthodox Jew. And that is the hardest thing. There have been many students, I've only been there a year, but I've spoken to students that have not been able to come to Holy Torah because they can't say, I'm an Orthodox Jew. One student was like, almost say, well, I'm able to say I'm an Orthodox rabbi, I just can't say I'm an Orthodox Jew. So whatever, I think that's a very powerful thing. If someone calls themselves Orthodox, let's welcome them in. But you're right, for a student at Holy Torah to get smicha, they have to commit to a belief in Torah Misinai, that it's somewhere in interpretation in the realm of the Masorah. And they do have options. We've had some students that have not been able to say that. They've gone to JTS, to the AJU, different conservative seminaries. Other students have gone on to illustrious careers, but have not been able to get smicha closely.
To concretize this, a young Louis Jacob was in your first year, and he wrote the book he wrote. Is that Thomas?
Well, from I haven't read the whole book, but I hear that book is not so controversial. So, if the truth is, again, if someone, I really think if someone is committed to Masorah, to the tradition, and has this belief that I was at Sinai, that whatever metaphysical, whatever existential belief that they were there, they will make Torah Misinai work for them. I really think, and we need someone like that. In order to give them smicha, we need them to be committed to making all their study of academic biblical criticism and everything. We need to work within the framework of the belief. So I think you're right that for smicha, it's a higher standard than just someone else who says, I'm Orthodox and I don't believe this, that I would say, let's talk about that and I'm not going to throw you out or anything like that. For smicha, they have to be willing to say, I believe it, and I'm going to work on how that fits into my academic study.
You're mentioning that you stress right now Orthodox as this term, essentially, if I'm an Orthodox student.
Right.
So I was just wondering if you could expand on how you see the difference between identifying as a halachic observant Jew and an Orthodox Jew.
Great question. I think Orthodoxy includes a sense of community, so there's a sociology of Orthodoxy, and it means that it connects you with generations of different parts of our Masorah. And so I think it's an important sociological term as well, and it's almost a poetic term, really, because we don't even like what it really means, the right way, the straight way, or whatever. But I think it's very important. I think when you're when you say I'm part of the Orthodox world, it begins to place constraints on you. It begins to, and then in the positive way, it connects you to other people that say they're in the Orthodox world, to other poskim, to an Avad Yosef. You might disagree with him on so many issues, but when you're Orthodox, it connects you with him. It connects with your Moshe Feinstein. So therefore, I think it's a critical way of placing yourself within the Masorah, within the tradition, the tradition of Halakha.
Okay, just one more question for now, and then we're going to take a break, a 2-minute break, and then we will reconvene generally for questions for both our speakers. So let's make this the last question, please. Can you speak up, please?
I don't believe in Torah Misinai, but I very much believe in Torah Shammai.
We'll have a good conversation. So we'll see. I think that the Masorah is very broad, and there's a very you can, if you're struggling to say that I believe Torah Misinai and you said now Torah Shammai, you believe in Torah Shammai, or believe in which way do you have it? Whichever way you had it, are you trying to place yourself within the tradition and work it out within studying the world? Or have you decided that you're going to yield the tradition for the world? And I think that within our yeshiva, you have to say, I'm committed to placing myself within the tradition of Orthodoxy, within Masorah, but I might be really committed to working it out with academic studies. So I think that one of the distinctions you might show that this Rishon holds of Torah Mi'ashamayim and not Torah Misinai. That's very legitimate. So that, it is a legitimate chiluk, but the critical thing is that you're willing to place yourself within the Masorah. And I believe that a lot of people that might subscribe outside of the yeshiva to an approach that really pushes the boundaries of Orthodoxy, but I think they're still committed to being part of the Orthodox world. I think we have to take that very seriously, and that's an important struggle. But the critical thing in the yeshiva is that you place yourself within the Masorah.
Thank you so much.